Hey plebs, welcome to the Respawn Point. This is Respawn Mondays, a weekly video game show. Here we talk about some of our favorite games while giving you the latest news updates. Join us here on the Respawn Point every week for help getting back into the game. Now I'm your host Nick Barry, and with me my co-host we have Elias Christensen. Now this no, it's okay. Now this is your 19th time respawning, and this week we're going to talk about Monster Hunter World, obviously because it just came out. So we're going to talk a little bit about our impressions about that, and then to wrap up the show, we have some news items for you guys. But before moving any more along, we have a special guest you'd like to introduce, Connor. Say hello, Connor.
Hello.
Now, Connor is what we would call our Monster Hunter veteran, even though he's okay at the game.
Shucks.
Um, Mostly just because he's played it longer than anyone, and he's played the Freedom 1, 2, and Unite back for the PSP. So that's why we have him on to talk a little bit about Monster Hunter this week, and we're excited about that. But first, before we go into our discussion, obviously, like we do every week, me and Elias will just go through what we've been playing. So obviously, for me, I've been playing Monster Hunter World. And then before it came out, I was playing a little bit of PUBG and League, but no one really cares about that right now. What about you, Elias?
Since we missed last week, I did play some Kingdom Hearts, but that was more last week. This past week, I've played a lot of League. Been getting somehow back into that game, which has been fun. I've been picking up some new jungle champions actually, and some old ones. I tried out Vi. That was pretty fun.
Yep, Bai's good.
Yeah, I think I'd played one game with her previously, way back when, but I really like her. I mean, she's like got the potential to do strong ganks and like get the kills, not just support kills, which is always fun. But she is also, a little durable. Um, and then I've been going back to Volibear, which I used to play a long time ago. Then
Solid.
I've been playing a lot of CS:GO just because the major's been going on. It's been getting me back into it. And we'll talk more about the major later. But unfortunately got placed Silver 2, which is basically Bronze 2 in League. Like, it's pretty bad. I was Gold before, but looks like I got some work ahead of me to get back. And then, yeah, we've been playing some Ark, just, having fun.
Nice. Awesome. All right, so we'll ask our guest here, Connor, what have you been playing in the past week?
Yeah, the Monster Hunter World just came out, and so had to get that bad boy right away, and pretty much been playing that ever since. I don't even think I've played any of my normal games since that came out. It's been, what was it, Friday?
Yep.
Yeah, it came out Friday, so it's been 4 days now straight of that game.
Awesome. All right, cool. All right, so we can kind of go into our guest introduction, which is obviously you, but so just so the people listening and if they're watching can know, just tell us a little bit about maybe yourself or your video game background.
Um, I mean, right now, obviously, between Monster Hunter and then before that, been mostly just PC gaming. I guess that started back. I think what got me into PC is probably like Age of Empires way back in the day. Started with that, and then never really did buy a console since like Age of Empires like 2. I think the last console I bought was actually a Wii, and I never really bought PS3 or PS4 until Monster Hunter came out. But um, most PC games, League, Overwatch. I guess I'll dabble very once in a while in Ark, and then before that, just everyone
PUBG.
grew up with either PUBG on PC also. Um, but growing up, everyone grew up with GameCube or PS2, and even we had N64 too. So all those classic Wind
Oh yeah,
Waker or Sonic Adventure 2 battle, I had a lot of fun in those days too.
yeah. Me and Elias always talk about how we grew up with the PS2 as kind of like our childhood console.
Yeah.
So it seems to be. I still think it's like one of the best consoles ever. Um, Yeah, but so and then in terms of this episode, obviously about being about Monster Hunter, how were you introduced to the game series?
Yeah, you said it. I started playing, I guess, the first portable game, which is really the second Monster Hunter game, I guess. I don't know, it was like 2006 or 7, but that was on PSP, and so yeah, I mean, I had a buddy who I never even heard of it, and I played a lot of games with him, and then he got it on PSP, so then I had to get it on PSP, and then we went from there. We powered through it a lot because that was back before online gaming, really, especially for handheld. There was no, well, I guess you couldn't connect with anyone that was more than 20 feet away from you, really, because it was all ad hoc. So it was just us two, and that was a fun feel too, powering through those games with just you and your friend, and it's a whole different atmosphere or feeling than today's games where you can just connect up with anyone, which is one of the features that they have in the new Monster Hunter, which is unique too. But yeah, I mean, it started back then, and then I guess kept going since.
Yeah. Yep. And then obviously once you heard about the new Monster Hunter World coming out for console again, which was the first time since, well, at least for us in the United States, it was the first time since the original back in 2004.
For console, yeah.
Yeah. So like I know you I've been talking I've me and Elias have been talking about on the show how you've been how you got me into it. How like what I don't think I've even talked to you about like what was your like reaction when they first announced it?
Um, I was surprised because for the most part, Monster Hunter hasn't really we I don't know. I feel like us in the Midwest or just all of it, we haven't really gotten good Monster Hunter and Nintendo. We had the Nintendo ones, and those were smaller at first, and then they made a big one with 3U and Generations. But we've kind of gotten neglected as far as it comes with Monster Hunter, because Japan has always had the Monster Hunter Online, which is their they made a that's a PC game, and that was a huge game, and we never got any of it. And there's some people here that still they bear through it and they play the game. It's completely Japanese, and they play on the Japanese servers because we had nothing. And so I guess when they announced it that they were going to release it here, I was surprised, and because it was an actual full big game and it was going to be on both PC and PS4. So I mean, yeah, I'd say surprise is the word, because I didn't think that they'd ever get off the Nintendo handheld chain again and bring back a solid game here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but obviously now that's out and playing it, it's
Yeah.
definitely a huge step. Just not only coming from transitioning back to PlayStation from Nintendo, but it's always been a handheld game for the longest time. So it's a huge step, and it looks ridiculously good, and it's ridiculously fun. Um, but so with that said, how we can move into the actual discussion now. How far are you in the game?
Me personally, I think I just hit high rank, so I mean everyone's playtime's a little bit different. I'm 33 hours in, and I'm
Oh,
HR
really?
12.
What the heck?
Yeah, 33 hours and HR 12, and I guess the HR themselves, you were saying keep going up in this game no matter, or it sounds like
Yeah.
I don't know, up to 99 or 100 or something, or maybe past that. I don't know, but
Well, I think I heard one. If anyone doesn't want to know, this is spoilers, but one of the rewards on PlayStation is to reach Hunter rank 100.
okay.
So I don't know. I don't know if there's more past that, or if that's the top. I'm not sure. Um, but
Well, the
yeah.
quests themselves, I don't know if the quests go up to 100, but right now the quests that I'm on are, I think, 11 or 12 level quests. So,
Okay.
I mean, it's fairly close to what level you actually are.
Yeah, because I'm Hunter rank like 9, and I have about 18 hours, I think.
Okay.
So, but I feel like I'm not too far behind you in the story.
Right. No, yeah, you're pretty close.
Yeah. Um, and then, so what are you currently doing? Are you trying to farm for a certain armor set? Are you trying to upgrade a certain weapon?
Well, right now, everyone, obviously, I feel like you and me can like progress, I guess, a little bit faster than all these other people, because a lot of people are playing this game, right, who haven't played it before, and they're new, and it's compared to other, you know, big titles out there right now. It's not exactly like, I think people most compare it to Dark Souls. There's not a lot of games that are kind of like Monster Hunter, so if you've never played it before, it's a little bit difficult to get into. So we got a handful of new people playing it right now. So I've just been kind of working on watching them or helping them, talking them through it, and because there's so many questions you can have in these games because there's just so many different aspects of it. But
Yeah.
I've been mostly doing that because I got people that I hope stick to it, and I want to make it as easy as a transition for them as I can right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
I mean,
powered through.
no, because I'm saying I even asked you a million questions before the game came out to kind of get ready for it.
Right.
Just because of you playing all the older games. So I know going into it and playing, obviously we played the beta together. That helped me a lot just to learn certain mechanics of the game. I think the biggest thing is just going into the training room and playing with all the weapons and understanding the combos and everything.
Yeah.
Because once you kind of learn that and you learn how the weapon works, then the rest is kind of just depending on the monster.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like the most important thing is 100% the combat, because if you can at least fight and take down monsters, you don't have to know every nook and cranny of the game, or even you don't even have to know most of it, like what the things mean or any of that stuff, or the side quests, or what half the words are, the bounties, investigations, all the different elements. You don't have to know that as long as you can get through a quest, because if you can't at least get through fighting a monster by yourself, then there's not even any point of knowing all the other stuff. So
Yeah. Yep. And then, so Elias, you said you're gonna be buying it, right?
Yeah, hopefully I'll be picking it up on Wednesday, if not definitely before the weekend.
Cool.
So you guys are gonna need to catch me up on all these things as well.
did you
Yeah, for
finally
sure.
get a PS4? You pull the trigger on that?
Gonna get it Wednesday,
Ooh, the PS4 in the game.
and the whole Kingdom Hearts series too.
So you gonna get the bundle, the Monster Hunter
Monster.
bundle?
I don't know if they still have it. I'll stop by a GameStop and see. But
Yeah,
see
that was actually.
the thing with
No, go
that,
ahead.
like Nick was saying, like that's what I should do. But like if they come out with a Kingdom Hearts 3 version, then I'm gonna have to get that one.
Yeah, I see how it
At
is.
which
Which
point,
they very well may.
unless so here's my like backup plan is if I did get the Monster Hunter one, I could sell it to Nick or you.
Okay.
There
Yeah.
you
Then
go.
buy myself the Kingdom Hearts 3 one.
Yeah. That's true.
You
I'd
would
I'd
buy
do
it?
that.
Or just take the hit at GameStop by trading it in.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, no, so there is, the Monster Hunter PS4 bundle available at GameStop, which we weren't able to tell you guys, the listeners, last week because we took a break. But the last time I checked, at least online, they didn't have any left. It said not available, but it may be different if you go into your local GameStop. Maybe they have one. But yeah, let me know though.
No.
But yeah, no, so that's exciting. So we'll be able to, because we have Ethan and Jake playing, and then Elias is going to come in. So there's a lot of new people to teach, which is actually really exciting. But it kind of goes along too with what me and Elias had in a recent episode talking about, um, just how Monster Hunter hasn't really been popular out here, and how I didn't even hear of it. But now for this game to make the steps it has, we have so many new players. It's I think what Capcom's trying to do is working.
yeah, yeah. I mean, real quick, I remember them saying that when the first beta came out, they ended up doing 3 betas, but when the first beta came out, they posted that they were like really happy with how widely accepted it is. Not even just in America because it's coming out in other places too, but especially here. But they said they were really happy with it. So then yeah, they ended up getting 2 more unscheduled betas. So we had like 3 of them.
Yeah,
Wow.
and then to go along with this too, I'll tell everyone now. I think I texted you this morning, Connor, that Capcom announced that they've sold 5 million copies in the first weekend of release.
Woo.
That's wild.
So obviously, whatever they're doing has worked. So hopefully they're happy with that. I think it's awesome for the game, and the series as a whole, because I mean, like I said, I never heard of it before this game, and I'm like pumped to play obviously this one and any one that comes out in the future.
I'm actually super excited to see because you were talking about buying those pop sets, right?
Yeah, I did buy them.
Are there gonna be there's gonna be Monster Hunter characters in Marvel vs. Capcom now then, right?
Yeah, so there is a hunter, like a basic hunter in Marvel vs. Capcom, and then I I think there's certain skins too. Like one of the pops is a female hunter with Rathalos armor.
Oh, cool.
So I think that's in the game. And that's kind of where the pops came from with that.
I'm writing down literally now to pick up Marvel vs. Capcom and those pops.
Yeah, yeah. Because it comes with it's a pack of 2. It comes with Black Panther and then the Hunter, which it correlates to the DLC because if you buy that DLC, it comes with those 2 characters.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that
Um,
you could buy that on the PC. I think they have Marvel vs. Capcom out for the PC,
Mhm.
but I think I'm
Yep.
just gonna get it for the PS4.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. My fighting games aren't usually.
Yeah, there's not gonna be as much of an audience on the PC for it.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, and then this is some other news. We're kind of jumping around, but the news was Connor. Do you remember the collaboration they announced?
Yeah.
So it's Street Fighter, and they have Ryu, and what was the other one?
I have to look it up. I never played the Street Fighters.
Yeah, it was on the female characters, but so they're coming to Monster Hunter, and you can play as Ryu, looking like him.
Like Chun-Li? Like which girl?
No, it's like a longer name.
Sakura, however you pronounce it. Sakura.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I haven't played a ton of Street Fighter, but a little bit.
Yeah. So, Monster Hunter does a lot of collaborations with all their games. And so the next one is a Street Fighter one, which is really cool. And you can even do like what was it, the Hadouken
Yeah.
thing?
Hadouken? Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty
I
cool.
don't know. I don't know how that fits into the game. I don't know
Is it
aesthetic or if it's actually I have no idea.
maybe,
I-
you know what, Connor, you know what? It could be just like a gesture, maybe.
Yeah. I'm
Is
hoping.
there any is there a mage class? I might be...
No.
Well, I guess you could do
No.
like an archer move like that. Like
Yeah,
he sends out an energy bolt or something.
I'm hoping it's just a gesture because if they make a class or something out of that, that would be.
It's
I don't
just
know how I feel.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
it's an OP move and the game's pay to win.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could make a monk class or something and balance
It's a
it
one
accordingly.
shot. It's the only way
Yeah.
you can now beat the game, and it's one shot.
But no, the trailer was really cool, and they had like Ryu. They showed him using a bunch of different weapons, so we know it's not like the Alloy one where she can only use the bow, which is pretty cool because like he's using like a great sword, swinging that thing around. I'm like, dude, yeah, that totally fits with Ryu. Like that big sword.
Oh my goodness.
But no, I think it fits better than Mega Man and Monster Hunter.
Well, yeah, I mean, all of it feels out of place, just because to an extent, just because Monster Hunter is like this old, you're using swords and bows, and then you got Mega Man with a cannon on his arm, and Ryu shooting out Hadoukens. They've done a lot of collaborations, though. They did. I don't know. I think there was a Solid Snake at one point holding a great sword. That was a while ago, though. And then obviously there's the Horizon Zero Dawn chick in here. So I don't know. None of them seem to be like obviously a huge part of the game. I think they're just for mostly just
Well,
a short aesthetic.
At least the Horizon Zero Dawn one, like she's at least kind of fits with the aesthetic. Plus, that game is very similar where you're hunting big monsters.
Yeah, that's
so
I minded the least.
Yeah. But it's cool. Cool regardless. So those are some news items that we have for Monster Hunter. But if we go back to our impressions of the game, so Connor, what are your playing other Monster Hunters, most on PSP? What are your thoughts for this game so far?
I had some worries just because it's and they've done a pretty good job of helping with it, but because it's more of an online game than it ever was, so I don't know, we were all a little bit worried about either microtransactions or sales, and I know that they've talked about the fact that they're not really doing that, but still a little skeptical. But yeah, I've been, like I said, 33 hours into this stinking game, and I haven't had anything pushed in my face at all. I don't even know where I go to buy anything with real money if I wanted to, so I'm happy about that because there's no incentive for pay to win or anything like that. So that was a worry, but I'm happy about that. there's a lot of things that are different than the game. Some of them in a good way. Just mechanics and gameplay. A lot of the classes feel a little bit smoother, and they've added just a couple moves, but it still has the original core feel to it. Um, and for the most part, it's pretty easy. That whole SOS system that they have, it's handy and nice to jump in, and being able to help out people for the most part, just pretty smooth transitions of jumping in. So as far as their online play goes and everything like that, I mean, pretty happy with that. And then another difference is the storyline. There's a story now, and there never was in any of the portable ones really. It was very, very loose. Just hey, our village is under attack, and do these next 30 quests is all it was. And now there's actually a I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't played it, but yeah, now there's a story that kind of takes you along every single quest of the way. There's cutscenes and dialogue, and so that's, I mean,
Yeah,
I
the cut scenes are really cool.
yeah, I think they're really epic. I personally don't play Monster Hunter obviously for a story, and mostly because it never had one, but it's just a nice bonus now. I mean, it's a little thing to kind of keep you more immersed.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes along with trying to reach a bigger audience too. Some people will latch onto the story a little bit more, and I think it's like just enough to where it makes you maybe care about what you're doing.
Yeah, help you get through the first couple hard parts or whatever, instead of just giving up right away.
Yeah. Um. So, do you think this one? Obviously, you just started high rank, but so far, do you think this game? Would you say it's like easier or harder than past Monster Hunters?
Yeah, that's a loaded question. I felt most of the time like this was easier. In two ways. I felt like I don't know if they were doing that to appeal to a wider audience or if they wanted the low rank to actually feel really low rank because obviously, like I said, I just got into high rank, so all the stuff so far felt pretty easy. And the other half of it is it feels well, you definitely get more rewards in all of these quests than you ever did before. I don't know, it just feels like there's a little bit less grinding needed, which maybe they want it, and I'm not against it, but it's just faster to get through armor sets. I feel like I've gone through like I don't know at least four I think so far, and I mean I haven't felt like a hardcore grind I guess for any of them. Maybe that changes in high rank. I haven't had time to get through that yet. I hope it at least gets just a little bit more not
Yeah,
grindy,
because
but a little bit more rewarding if you are able to finish a whole
I've
armor
even
set.
found that where, like right now, I started working for what was that
Yeah,
Odog
Odogaron, yeah.
Odogaron's armor set, and I've hunted him twice, and I only need one more part for the helmet, which would
And
complete the set.
yeah,
So it's I've gone through a number of sets as well, and it's definitely not. There's no grind for these armor sets. I feel like you have to hunt it a couple of times, but it's not like, oh, I really need this one part, and it's super rare. It's a super rare drop for this monster. But like you said, that may change in high rank. I know on social media, a couple of the like the quote unquote pros, they do say it gets a little bit more grindy when you get really deep into high rank.
yeah.
So
I think I prefer that because they don't have obviously G rank in this game. Maybe it's coming in DLC later, but as of right now, if I'm only 4 days in and I cleared low rank, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to be that way, but that would be terrible if you could plow through high rank in 4 days, and I don't think it will be that way, but yeah, I mean, otherwise we gotta wait for that DLC to come out.
right. I would imagine, and this is just a kind of a speculation, but I would imagine low rank is maybe easier compared to past games on purpose because they're trying to reach that wider audience.
Yeah,
So they don't want to really punish players who are brand new to the series. They want them to have fun and also get the learn the system and everything without punishing them too hard.
yeah.
So has it been? It hasn't been a handheld game its whole life, has it?
So do you want to answer this?
It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it came out on PS2 first. It was called
Okay.
Monster Hunter,
Yeah.
and then for us, I mean, Japan had different variations, but for us, the next three games were all PSP, and they were still full games.
Hmm.
Had everything that the PS2 one had. It's just, I mean, I don't know. They didn't see the need. I don't know what it was. If they got better
No, I mean,
reception
I,
just with
I
the
could see
PS2 or
like
what.
maybe they had a larger life in in Japan and everything, and so over here they just stuck to um handheld games because the true fans are gonna play it no matter what. And then
Right.
maybe now that they're coming back to a large AAA console release, they did want to catch some more people with that easier lower rank. Um,
Yep.
that's also an interesting thing you guys were mentioning about you want some grinding. Because it's so funny in certain games you can't stand it when it gets grindy, but in the games that you love, you're typically like not only willing to do it, sometimes you're excited to do it. Like I'm excited to get into Kingdom Hearts grinding. I'm excited to literally spend hours killing stuff just to get to level 99.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's because it's the rewarding part of it after. Like, yeah, it
Yeah.
sucks in the moment. Nobody likes grinding, but if it's something you're at least making, progress in, and it's a grind, but you're getting there, and you can see it. Like you're getting these pieces, and you're getting these armor sets, and it feels better, I think, after. And if they don't they wanted to get away with how much they were doing it before, I can understand that. But at least hopefully it's not the same as it is now, because it only takes 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 times to kill a monster before you can pretty much get that whole set.
I think too, even if you can finish a game earlier than like having to grind all the way till max level and gear and everything for a lot of games, sometimes it's the fun of like it gives you other stuff to do with the game. It gives you it adds more life to the game because then maybe you've already beat the game a couple times, but now you're seeing how fast you can beat the last boss or how fast you can beat the hardest boss. How easy those things are for you.
Yeah, and the other thing is Eric's Gaming, who is a very popular YouTube channel who does Monster Hunter content, is he, over on Twitter, he posted a picture of his, character card or whatever. He's 110 hours into the game, and he said he was just getting started. So
It's
That's
like it's
good,
like how does he have time for editing videos?
yeah.
I don't know. He
Because I followed him when you retweeted his giveaway, and the amount of videos he puts out, it's like insane. He'll put out 2 in a day sometimes.
yeah, he's really
Yeah.
good. He's
Yeah,
really
and he's
good.
quick too. When new news comes up on the internet, man, he's pretty
Yeah.
quick with the news. It comes out that day.
It's
Yeah,
immediate.
so if anyone who's listening is brand new and they need help, I would go to his YouTube channel because he has some really good guides for the Monster Hunter. So if you need help, there's that. The other thing I was thinking too is even like in the beta when we got to fight Nergigante, me and Connor played it a lot, and it took us, between 10, probably like 20 fights just to beat him the first time,
Yeah.
and that was part of the fun for me, at least, where it was extremely hard just to beat him, and then once you did, you felt that yes moment, and like you it was like winning your first match in PUBG almost. And so it's exciting, and it makes you like feel good. And so far in low rank, at least for me, it's been kind of like this is really fun, and I have had a couple of those moments with a little bit tougher monsters, but I feel like as soon as you like level up your armor set, the next monster then is way easier than it was before. So yeah, hopefully, obviously, we're probably talking about this, and in probably like a week we'll get into high rank and be like, whoa, this is totally different.
I regret everything. Yeah. Too much crying. No, that's
Yeah.
encouraging to know that he's at 100 and something hours in, and he feels like he's just getting started. That's good.
Yeah. So I think there must be like a lot of late game stuff that's more grindy and all of that. And then even like me and Connor were talking, I texted and we counted. There's 30 monsters in the game currently, if you include variations of monsters and Zora Magdaros. So and we counted, we had only fought like half of them, or even less than half in low rank. So there's still like a lot of monsters to go that are going to be like in high rank. And then Connor told me that even some of the low rank monsters transition to high rank as well. So
They feel different. They get new moves and a little bit more. Obviously, like I guess aggression is the word, but yeah, they're just bigger and badder, and they feel a little bit new because they got some moves that we've never seen before.
yeah, so yeah, I'm excited. I was playing maybe 15 minutes before the show, so I was like, I gotta get this armor set. So, but yeah, no, we're excited that Elias is gonna start playing, and we can show him. And then we know Ethan was playing with us too. He's gonna play with us after the show as well, and he's super excited about the game. What did he text you, Connor?
Well, yeah, I was I was working and I just get a text randomly from him today. It just said quit your job, and then it's just I need help or whatever. He was like he was struggling a little bit, but then I texted him back and he had already gotten past it at that point. So and then he was, I mean, you can tell he's getting amped up for it.
Yeah, I think it's part of like the better you get and the more accustomed to the controls you get, like the more rewarding it is. For the feel of it, like okay, I'm getting better, and I can see that when I play the game and when I fight these monsters.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things that's great about this game. Obviously, along with all their stuff, between the visuals and all the cool armor sets and just the unique monsters. Some of the monsters you just like, you can just watch them sometimes, and they're just so cool, from a design standpoint, even.
Yeah.
And then even like I create a female character and Connor has a male, and so lots of times I'll send them pictures of what the female variation of the armor set looks like, and sometimes it's a big difference. Some I like more the male, some I like more with the female. So I think that's a cool aspect of it too, where it's even like, okay, maybe I got so far with this character, I'll start over with a male character and play through the game again. So yeah, it's really fun. So did you want to talk a little bit, or I'll just ask you, Connor, is there anything you dislike about the game so far?
No, I mean not too much. I like most of it. Like with what you have, here about there's a lot of new stuff. And I guess that's kind of like any other game though. It just takes a little bit to get your grips and kind of learn about what all these different small aspects are. There's always been like a farm, so to speak, in the older Monster Hunters. They're kind of doing it a different way, so it's just learning how they have things set up in this game. But I mean that I wouldn't say that's a dislike. It's just some things are a little bit slower going than other things. Kind of figure out all the nooks and crannies of it. But no, for the most part, it seems really good. And then I think the one dislike that we all have in common is we wish that we could all see each other's characters in the whole town. There's only one room
Yeah.
that we can see each other in. But
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, they've kind of talked about it, like we know there's the gathering hub, which even for older Monster Hunters was a common thing. So it's cool, but at the same time, like you wonder why when you're in the same online session with your friends, why you can't see them throughout the entire, Estera, the whole town. It kind of just makes you wonder, like, why not? Like, because even if you go into your options and you go to invite a friend, it even says in parentheses, like invite your friends so you can see them in Astera.
right.
And like we did it, and we were kind of like, oh, like, is it gonna be everywhere? And no, it was still just a gathering hub. And so you kind of wonder, like, why not just see them everywhere? But so I don't know, who maybe they'll add that later.
Does the town change at all based on your rank or level?
I was thinking about that too. The only thing I could think of is I'm pretty sure your house moves at some point. Like you have your own like quarters, and I know at some point that moves around and you get like a better room and stuff.
I mean,
And
if
you unlock
anything,
new NPCs also. But
I guess it should be if you're at the same spot in the game as far as that goes, not necessarily everything else, but you should be able to. Otherwise, they're just instancing everyone, which seems pretty insane.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean
Well,
you're alone.
Well, because there's so many quest boards throughout the entire town. So lots of times when we're playing, say like me, Connor, and Ethan are all in a squad, and so when we first start up the game, you go into your squad's online session, and so when everyone else logs in, they're just automatically there. So when you post a quest, they can already see it. So it's made simple, but it kind of takes, unless you want to see your friend's armor set outside of like a quest, there's no reason to go up there unless you're just playing with random players on a random online session.
Yeah, The arena's up there, but I think, yeah, that's about it.
Right. So I think that's one of the things that's kind of a little quirky, maybe.
Yeah.
There's one other thing, but I forget what it was. I do know, like for me, you were trying to explain it to me, like the armor skills are a little unclear. Maybe I skipped over the armor skill tutorial that they have. But at least now it's like I feel like there's so many different armor skills where like when we emulated Freedom Unite, I felt like you explained it to me and it was clear, like okay, like each piece of armor has a specific skill, and then once you get so many of the same skill, it gives you 20 extra health or something.
Right.
In this game, say you get a piece of armor that has level 1 like attack boost, and then your head has some random skill that you've never heard of. I just feel like going from set to set, there's so many. I feel like every set has different skills, and it's kind of confusing, like why you can't kind of customize that a little bit.
Yeah, they're moving away from what they did in the older games. In the older games, it's like you described. You get an armor set and you get one piece of it, and you get the next piece of it, and it's not really until you get the fifth piece of it till that passive activates because you finally have enough points built into that passive that it turns on. Now they're kind of getting away from a one passive per one set. It seems like all the full sets, even though they're one of a kind, each piece has a couple different passives in it, and it no longer needs X amount of points in order to turn on. You just need one piece with 1 point, and so more sets are having 3, 4, 5, 8. You can get a lot of them later. Passives in it, and it's a little bit different than what it was before. So I think obviously just putting more hours into it, you'll understand a little bit more. But and then the customizable part that comes later. Into the high rank, it's kind of the same concept as they had in the older games. There's still slots and jewels that you can put on in the higher rank, and that doesn't really unlock until you get to the higher rank armor sets, which I kind of like because I feel like not only is that going to be another just thing thrown at new players in low rank, it'd be a little bit more confusing. They don't really need to know that. Not only that, but also you go through low rank armor sets so fast that it's almost not worth putting jewels and figuring out what kind of slots you're going to be using on it. So it'll get more in depth as you keep going.
Yeah, I can understand that. That makes a little bit more sense. Because like you said, like maybe it's not as important in low rank because you're going through sets a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think that part of it, because like I have so many armor spheres, right, through the investigations and bounties and all that jazz. And I haven't even used any, mostly because what's the point of upgrading your armor? Because you craft new stuff so quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, maybe it'll just get more explained later on. Because we know like each skill has like what up to 7 levels.
It changes. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, some of them have. Yeah, some of them only have 2. Some of them only have 3, and then yeah, some of them 7.
Okay. And then the other thing too is there's no only a few armor sets have like a set bonus.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah. I think Anjanath was one of them.
Yep.
But
And then Odagaran.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I think because even Capcom has said I think that they're trying to push players mixing sets more,
hmm
which is okay, but at the same time, I like the aesthetics of stuff. So I'm not gonna mix sets ever, really.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, in the beta, we were actually no, I didn't even think about that until now. We were doing that in the beta, or at least I was. I was doing anything that had attack up, and then there was like 1 or 2 pieces that didn't. So then we had to go like
Yeah,
crit. I think was one of them.
yeah, but you just looked so gross.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
I mean, I get it from the standpoint of like, especially if you watched any of like the speed runs of players fighting Nergigante, they had whatever would give them the best time. So yeah, they had mixed sets, and for that purpose, yeah, okay, I can see it doesn't matter what you look like, but for me, it does matter. So I just I don't know. Like I understand, like they don't want to punish you for not having a full set, but it kind of stinks that sometimes only certain sets do have that set bonus. But
You know what's funny is this is just reminding me of something from World of Warcraft where before I think it was Cataclysm, you would have to grind for armor sets and everything, and they'd be, designed to match if you got everything from the same armor set, like so you'd look good. But that wasn't always what. Sometimes if you wanted to beat a boss, you need to use mixed sets to get the stats you wanted, and that didn't look good. So they came out with a function I think it was called like transmogrification, and you could just like change it to whatever. As long as you had beaten that boss, I think you could change any armor piece to look like any other armor piece. And people that had like, I don't know, people got really pissed.
really,
Yeah, they didn't like that. Like they didn't want people to do that. Like original WoW players, I guess that's gonna be like something in the vanilla WoW that Blizzard's working on. I'm pretty sure there will be no transmogrification.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I could see the benefit of that. The one thing that Monster Hunter does do is that you can turn off your helmet, your headpiece. So in that case, it doesn't matter what your headpiece looks like because you can turn it off. So yeah, I don't know. I find that's interesting though.
Thank God, because you spend an hour or 2 hours just making your character's face only to be covered up by armor. People could get so mad if that wasn't an option.
Yeah, it's true. In light of that too, I think Capcom said that they were looking into possibly adding the feature to edit your character's face after you already create it. Because
Ooh.
if you go into your house right now, you can go into your item chest, and at the bottom there's a choice to edit your character. But right now you can only edit the hair, your makeup, certain aesthetic things that you could change in real life. But I think people have been asking to change their facial features, and maybe I don't know if that entails the gender as well. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that though. But regardless, okay. Was there I don't want to put you on the spot here, Connor, but is there anything you could tell someone who maybe they're on the fence of buying this game that would push them over the edge in a good way?
Yeah, if you feel like you're a person who can stick through something that feels difficult at first, like even if you're not sure if you're gonna like it or not, if you're the type of person that just gives up easy because it's really irritating and you just, I mean, I don't know, I've seen that before too. People just can't stand constantly dying over and over again. If you feel like you can't do that, maybe don't get it if you get irritated that quick. But if you feel like you can learn and you can kind of, because it's all about learning monsters, right? It's all about reading their moves and knowing when it's safe to go in and stuff. So if you feel like you can put up with the learning part of it and the combat part of it, I mean, it's one of the best games as far as this genre of a game. I mean, I can't think of anything even like it.
Yeah, and it's great. It's great for multiplayer. Even if you don't, even if you don't have your friends who play it, A, you could maybe talk them into it, or B, you can join random. You can join random players though, like Connor mentioned earlier with the SOS flares. Now you can join random players' quests already in progress and still get rewards for it, as long as if it's before 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's a great way to meet players. And even if you don't want to meet people, you just want to play with people. Playing with 3 other people to fight a big monster, there's just something to it that's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
It's like every monster is a boss fight, and it's great. Like for me, the bigger ones I like more because it's just trying to take down this colossal, like Nergigante, for example, trying to take down this huge, dragon-looking monster is just the cool. And then mounting, like I know some people aren't a big fan of mounting, but for me, it's like that is my goal every single game to just mount. It's just the coolest thing. Like you're just like on top of this thing, and then certain weapons, like for me, I use the switch axe mostly, and so for that finisher, move, you know use the element discharge, and you're sticking pumping that thing with your blaze energy or whatever, and it's just the coolest thing. So again, that's what I think the beta honestly was a good representation of maybe how the game is really with Nergigante. Like going with four people, including you, into a fight against this huge thing, and you know, maybe you'll die, 10, 20 times before you defeat it, but
That's what.
as long as you don't get, as long as you won't get tilted, like once you finally beat it, like it's just one of the greatest feelings.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
So
definitely more fun in numbers too, and with the whole
yeah,
SOS thing, a lot of people in the beginning were like, "Who cares about me if I fire an SOS? Like, who's gonna come help me?" But there are those people out there. Like, I'm one of them. I love to just go out and sink in, because I'd rather, I'm like a social gamer, I guess, more in that sense. I'd rather, I don't know, be beating up a monster with someone else. And they do such a, it was a really good idea with how they did it too, because you can sort through people's SOSs. So maybe they actually don't care about your well-being, but maybe they just need parts from that monster, so they'll come help you anyways. So
yeah.
they're
No, I
they're out
mean,
there.
like even you were saying, like even if like say you're just gonna grind for a monster, instead of doing it solo, look for SOS flares,
Hmm.
and it could be one of the greatest things. You can play with other people while you're also helping yourself get, maybe that last piece of armor or
Yeah.
however. So yeah. Any other closing thoughts, either of you guys?
I'm excited to keep playing.
So I do have one question: is what are your guys' main weapons? I know Nick said the switch axe. You'd say that's your main weapon.
Yeah.
Okay, Connor.
I was always the greatsword for the longest time, and then the beta came out, and I trolled around with the gun lance because that was the first time I ever used that, and it felt nice in World. It didn't feel like that in the second generation game, so I tried gun lance for a little bit. But right now, I've done like probably 90% of the game with the long sword, just because I feel like monsters in this generation, the fifth generation, and looks like the fourth generation too, they're just a little bit faster than they used to be. At least there's more faster ones and less slower ones. Like, nobody's gonna know. Kuzu is like from second gen, and he was like the slowest thing in the world. But there were more monsters like that, and so it was easier to use the great sword.
Hmm.
Longsword still has the damage, but it's got the mobility too, and that's kind of what I feel like. If you're struggling with your weapon class, I kind of feel like that's what it's about, is balancing damage with the mobility and kind of figuring out where your comfortable range is until you
Hmm.
can read a monster a little bit better and stuff. But that's where I've been.
I just want to know so I can main something else. Obviously.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
then we have Ethan and Jake both picking Insect Glaive.
What's that?
So Insect Glaive is like a double-sided staff,
Oh, okay.
but you can also vault with it and do like aerial attacks.
Ooh,
And you get pet
Wukonging it
insect.
up.
Yeah, pretty much. Were you gonna say something, Connor?
Well, and with that class, you get that pet insect, and it's like you get to craft two weapons. Like, you craft the staff, obviously, but you also craft and choose your insect. I've never done it, but I know that you can pick out your insect and pick out the one you want that kind of benefits either what kind of monster you're fighting, or your playstyle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit more of an in-depth weapon because of the insect glaive part of it. Like, I know I tooled around with it a little bit in the beta. And if you didn't have like the red in Kinsect or whatever it's called, then like I forget, it's a little unclear. At least in the beta, it was unclear what like the bonuses did for you. But I know like the red one, it made your aerial attack like hit, like you did like a spin,
Gives
but
you a
you
new
constantly were
animation.
hitting.
Gives you a
Yeah,
new
it was a new animation, but like if you don't have the red, like your circle attack in the air would give you a boost, and then you would end it with one hit. Whereas if you had the red Kinsect, it would make it so it's a spinning attack, and it was a lot easier to connect with your target.
Yeah, it hits more, I think, and then white is speed. I think orange is like less knockback and more defense, and then green is just health.
Okay. But yeah, no, it's a cool, more in-depth weapon. I find, like for me, getting into the game, Sword and Shield was the way to go. I also just like the aesthetic of it. But the more I played, I wanted a little bit more of that like in-depth technical weapon. That's why I went with the switch axe. And the switch axe is great with elements for your weapon too, where because one of your moves is an element discharge, and you can I know like I have a paralysis one, and it's weird because so all the weapons have like the element to them, right? Like if you have like an ice weapon, but so with the switch axe you can have an ice switch axe, but you can also have the file, which is it controls that element discharge, so you can have like a paralysis discharge, but the normal hits don't have an element to them.
Right.
So it's a little bit more, it's just a little bit more technical, and I like that once I got the hang of the game. Sometimes if I'm having a trouble with a monster, I will go back to Sword and Shield just because it is quicker and it's more simple.
And safe,
Yeah, and safe. But yeah, so usually once I learn a monster though, like the switch axe, I'm enjoying the most. So there you go. So, but there's 14 to pick from, Elias, so you can kind of go in the training room and see which one you like the most.
Nice.
So, but yeah, once you get it, you'll have to let us know, and we'll jump in there and help you out.
Oh, I'm excited. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I might not hit you guys up Wednesday because obviously you said designing your character takes over an hour.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but Thursday, Friday, this weekend for sure, we're gonna do it up.
Sounds good. All right, well, I think that kind of wraps up the discussion for Monster Hunter World. If you guys have any questions for us, you can leave us an email or go to Twitter and also tweet at us if you want to. Our email is respawn.mondays@gmail.com, just to let you guys know. And we'll also mention that at the end of the show. But so we got some new stuff we want to cover as before we wrap up the show. So Elias, you want to just cover a little bit of the PUBG, the latest update they gave us?
Yeah, sure. Actually, this is both 2.0 and 3.0 of update 1, right?
Yeah, so there's two updates here. I think the Blue Zone stuff was
Blue
the
Zone
first
was,
update.
Yeah, 2.0. I think the other ones were 3.0. So
Yeah.
So they're adjusting the Blue Zone for balance. They're going to decrease the waiting time of Blue Zones in mid to late phases of a match. And slightly decrease the shrinking speed of the blue zones in mid to late phase. In this phase, blue zones will now move at a slower speed, and the travel time of blue zones has slightly increased. So basically, the blue zone's going to be moving more often, but slower, past the mid game now, from now on.
Yeah.
And they slightly increase the damage per second of the last blue zone. Which is pretty interesting. I have seen a couple videos popping up of people underworlding and just hanging out, and that I didn't know this, but even after the last circle, it will eventually close and disappear.
Yeah.
And then there's people literally just medding for like, I don't know, probably 10 seconds. That's all people can survive or whatever, but they're able to get through a couple med kits and everything until everybody dies. So it just becomes a sneaky war of attrition if you've gotten enough meds, which becomes a little ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of the change they're going for right there.
I think so. Yeah, I've seen a couple of videos of it popping up recently.
Yeah. Well, because even sometimes, like if this happened to Ethan, where the zone closed around shelter and he was inside and they were above, and you couldn't go outside to fight. So at that point, you just had to wait for the zone to completely close.
Yeah.
And at that point, just it's a battle of how fast and how many meds you can get off.
Yep.
So makes sense.
Yeah. Gameplay changes. So this is the 3.0. They introduced multiple pre-match starting areas on both maps in order to optimize the server and game client performance. So now instead of just warming up at the prison on Miramar and just at the starting island on Erangel, you're going to be at multiple areas. I could see one in the military zone on Erangel, maybe one in Razak, just to split people up. But I think it's going to reduce the server strain. They also remove the weapons on starting island before the match starts, so that.
Thank God.
And okay, so this is interesting because, as far as I knew, they removed the weapons on starting island after the start of the match. So, or at least decreased. No, I thought they removed all items off the thing. So is there any purpose to that island being there now?
No,
or
there's no purpose.
maybe. I mean, I could see to fix that they could throw a couple really nice weapons out there to make a bit. Because I would like that mechanic to come back to where you could go out there.
Yeah.
But maybe they don't like that. I don't know.
I don't know, but no, the fact that you don't even spawn there, at least all the time,
Mm.
is kind of just like the island is kind of useless now.
Yeah.
So it kind of stinks, but I'm glad that there's no more weapons there because I would always have to mute the volume because it was just so loud.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. So they also applied new Russian, Japanese, and Chinese simplified / traditional fonts. So that's just a UI change. I guess I guess something they also mentioned I saw in like the paragraphs after that 3.0 or update number 3 on 1.0. They're going to be looking into changing some things about the plane to increase server performance during the start of matches. I don't know exactly what they're going to do, if there's going to be multiple planes or anything. I think that'd be ridiculous, but they could potentially instance the planes. I don't know how that works.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and then there was a bug fix that they were able to fix the issue where players were able to slide jump from prone, which I hadn't seen that before. Had you guys seen that?
No, I don't. Yeah, I mean, is it like a glitch almost?
Maybe it was a glitch people found. Like if you were moving to the side, you could jump up from prone, whereas you couldn't
Maybe.
before. That's
Yeah,
pretty
maybe.
crazy.
Yeah, I could see that being kind of OP.
Yeah. Do you want me to get into the CS:GO and Arc thing real quick too?
Yeah. So before, because I know you got the esports there. How do you know how many peak viewers there was for the major? Putting you on the spot here.
1.3 million, I think, during the final match.
Okay, yeah. So I think because I saw someone tweet it out, and then they were like, really sarcastic at the end. They're like, "Dead game."
Well, yeah, so many people were saying that that CS:GO was dead. Like this fall time. Even some content creators were getting really down about it because like there wasn't much happening in the game. But yeah, no, it's crazy. So as you guys can see, Cloud9 are I think they might be the first NA team to win a major.
Wow.
They're the best NA team now, obviously. They weren't expected to win but all three teams that they faced in the playoffs. So basically there was a preliminary stage, a group stage, and then your playoff bracket, which had 8 teams to start. So all 3 matches that they played were the 3 teams that were liked the most to win, and they crushed it. It was totally unexpected. They beat basically the 3 best teams in the world, and so I mean, yeah, you could say it was. It was an upset. You could say it was a fluke, but I don't think so. It was really crazy. If you're gonna watch any game, you would watch the last game of the finals because it went all 3 maps. The third map went to double overtime, which is a first for any major ever. And it was really crazy.
That's awesome.
Edge of your seat action for sure.
Yeah, that's really awesome. That's crazy for the game being, it's an old game.
Yeah, well, I mean, not just CS:GO, but CS in general.
Right.
Yeah. CS has probably been I don't even know, like 16, 20 years, something like that. And then CS:GO, I think it's been out 4 to 5, maybe 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah. Then we have some Arc news. I'm not really going to get into it, just a little bit of a teaser. They released even more news about the Dino TLC Pass, both Phase 1 and they announced Phase 2. Phase 2 we got just a little taste of. They have new models for the Argentavis and the Spinosaurus, which is pretty cool. But we have all the news about the changes that they're going to be making to all 5 dinos announced in Phase 1, and a lot of other changes just to the world and some stuff that's really interesting. Like I had said during the last show, you can tune in February 19th. We're going to have Cooper on as a guest, and we're going to be giving a comprehensive rundown of all the changes and what we think, because we're hoping that they put that change live on Sunday, but they may not. If not, we're going to give an overview of, what we're expecting. And then as a little note, Arc Pixel was announced, which is basically a Minecraft version of Arc. I'm sure some stuff will be different. It seems pretty cool. I think Spencer made a joke. I mean, the building in that game is gonna be way easier. Like
I could actually see myself playing
playing
this.
that version.
Yeah,
Well, hey, that'd be cool.
I could see it.
Well, I mean,
could
I'm
see it.
sure we're all gonna play.
Just once I beat Monster Hunter.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's sort of it for Arc. We're gonna be going over that, like I said, on February 19th. I just actually posted a link in the chat for the Community Crunch 116 on survivethearc.com if you guys want to check it out early. But yeah, that's that.
And then we got some last thing here. We got Overwatch news. I think it was on the 23rd, I believe. The Blizzard World map came out for Overwatch, along with a bunch. I think it was like over 100 new items, including a lot of new skins for every single hero in Overwatch. I forget some of the legendaries. There's one for like Pharah, Lucio, Hanzo, Diva. So there's a lot of new stuff that came out for Overwatch that was really exciting and cool. All stuff that's found in basic loot boxes and that will be there forever. Almost kind of just like an update to kind of just some of the skins and the even like the sprays and the emotes in the game, which is cool. And then on the esports side of it, I've been kind of following esports for Overwatch just because I find it really interesting, and the fact that all the teams are location based is really cool. Being in New England, following New York and Boston teams is just interesting to me. So I know I was actually surprised because the New York Excelsiors were actually ranked number 1, and I think it was maybe Friday or Saturday they played Seoul Dynasty, who was undefeated, and New York actually beat them, giving them their first loss. So I found, I found that like really interesting. I guess I don't know, because I guess maybe with video games, these Korean teams are just always kind of the best, at least with League,
Yeah.
So no, I just found it interesting that the New York team was actually playing really well and they actually beat them. So
well, it's pretty interesting that like I said with CS:GO, Cloud9. I mean, they're the best NA team because they just won a major. Like that doesn't happen even in League. When was the last time an NA team won Worlds?
Ever.
Yeah. I mean, maybe season 1 or 2 or something, but essentially it's been esports have been one-sided, or I mean not one-sided, but they're not happening in NA. They're not the best.
No.
And so it was, to me, it was a funny decision to see Overwatch place most of the teams in NA.
Yeah.
So part of me feels like there could be, who knows, maybe there's a lot of other good players, and just not enough teams to go around in other parts of the world.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's just the way Overwatch is set up is just so different with these teams. I don't know exactly how it works with other games, but they pay their players salaries. So like I think it's just a lot different where like, oh hey, like you can get any person and you can I can't think of the right word, but you can get a contract with any really good player and you can have a good team. So I think the fact that there's a lot of NA teams or teams in the US, I think it's just gonna grow. I know there's the London Spitfire, got 2 teams in Korea.
Yeah,
I think it will expand for the following year.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I like that they're trying new things. It's just interesting.
Yeah, no, it really is. So I like to keep up on it just because I find it so it's just so different, I think, than all the other games for esports.
For sure.
I think I saw a funny fact. I think it was like it was one of those porn sites or whatever were saying that that Blizzard esports was taking their traffic away from them or something. It was like real funny. It was one of the news stories or whatever. It was just like, oh yeah, everyone's watching Blizzard esports instead of going to our site or whatever.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. But anyways, so we can talk about the Nintendo Labo another time.
Okay, yeah.
But the one interesting thing and really exciting thing, actually, if you're a Dr. Disrespect fan, is that he is coming back February 5th, which is a Monday, for a brand new stream week, or just, he's coming back, which is cool. He posted an interesting video on his Twitter, and he announced he'll be back February 5th. So, and he kind of changed, like he had the Slick Daddy Club, and now he's rebranding it, calling the Championships Club, which probably for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So,
It's pretty
but
funny.
so yeah, no. If I like watching Dr. Disrespect. I don't watch Twitch too much, but he's just a good laugh. So
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to see if there's been any changes to his character at all.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. But all right, we can go into the polls and trivia for this week. Last 2 weeks ago's question was, what was your favorite video game? And we got a couple answers. We got Ishmael Green. He says Final Fantasy 3, which he must be a little bit older because that came out a long time ago. And then Brandon Wells, he loves Mega Man X.
Hmm.
And since we have a guest on the show, I'm going to ask you, Connor, not to put you on the spot, but do you have a favorite childhood video game?
I put a ton of hours, probably into 2 games. I think I kept replaying Zelda Wind Waker, and if I can't decide between that, I'd have to decide between that and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I think on GameCube, the Chow Farm, people call it. I love that junk.
Well, nice.
Pretty cool.
Yep.
Just to add, last week I mentioned Kingdom Hearts. It's probably almost definitely number 1. Close number 2 I meant to mention last week. Need for Speed Underground 2.
Ooh,
Just one of my favorite games ever.
Yeah, that's a good choice. Good,
Yeah.
solid game. And then if anyone forgot, mine was Jack and Dexter, the Jack series. Those were the first game I actually played on PS2 was Jack and Dexter. When my brother went to the store to buy it, we bought 2 games. We bought Star Wars Jedi Starfighter, and we were like, oh yeah, freaking Star Wars, can't wait to play this. And then the other game we just randomly picked up, it was Jack and Dexter, rated E. My parents were okay with it because it was E and all that good stuff. And so I remember the next day my brother had to go to school, but I didn't. And I'm like, I'm gonna play this before my brother. And I was like, okay, I want to save Star Wars for last because that's what I'm gonna really like. So I popped in Jack and Dexter, and oh boy, was I pleasantly surprised.
Wowzers.
So it's a good game. I love it. But so our question, it's a question. It'll be in a poll format on Twitter because I'm gonna, make it by the hours. But the question is, how many hours do you have in Monster Hunter World so far? And so I'll break it up. I'll do like 0 to 5, 5 to 15, or something like that. So if you guys want, you can go over on our Twitter and answer that. So that kind of wraps up our show, guys, for this week. We want to thank Connor for joining us and being our guest talking about Monster Hunter.
Thanks for having me.
No problem, anytime. Is there any shout outs, or do you want people to know where they can find you? Do you care?
No, I don't really post that much on any streaming. I'm not a Twitcher.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
You are now.
But all right, guys. So our Twitch is at Respawn Mondays. We do our shows 8 o'clock every Monday. You can follow us on Twitter, on YouTube, all Respawn Mondays. You can find the podcast, iTunes, Google Play, anywhere. You can find podcasts at Respawn Mondays. You can follow me personally at NikkiGirl7. What about you, Elias?
Tolmaith, TOLMAEITH, on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
Awesome. All right, and if we have any new viewers this week, want to say thanks for listening. If you made it to this end of the show, then we thank you. And if you are still listening, you can go review us on iTunes. That helps us out. And also, we have a Patreon at patreon.com/RespawnMondays if you want to throw us a tip. Otherwise, that wraps up this episode of the Monster Hunter World Impressions. And thanks for listening, and thanks for respawning with us.
See you next week.